can't. I don't. What is up? Good morning. Good morning. This is Stylist from the Backroom. Morning, John. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, Eddie. As with every week, I'm going to start this week off with how's your week going besides your house being reassembled?
Which is Chinese water torture, man. It was just a banging, nonstop banging. I woke up Wednesday thinking it was Thursday. I woke up Thursday thinking it was tomorrow. And I woke up this morning having no idea what am I doing with my life. I am so discombobulated with all the banging going around with the remodeling. It's out of control. What is interesting though is last week, what was it? I thought I got these past couple of weeks. I guess I'm doing really good because I have no idea what day it is or what hour it is or if I'm going or coming, right? What I do know is we got some news.
Yep.
We got some chatter.
Yep.
We've got some reviews.
Yep.
And I'm taking over motivation this week.
I can't wait. Because I get to play you.
You're gonna I'm gonna find out your reaction. That's right.
I think it's gonna be a nice change of pace for everybody involved.
Look, you've been hitting me with some really, really deep ones this past couple of weeks, so
yeah, well, be careful what you wish for, my friend.
Bring it on, sucker.
Let's go. Okay, so you ready? You ready for some news, some stuff?
What you got?
Okay, so I did a little mixture this week because I know you love stats, but not everybody's a stat geek like you are. So, for the first quarter of 2024, high-end services have increased in all salons naturally. Now, what's a high-end service? High-end service is your keratin treatments, your highlighting, and extension services. Those are examples of some of the high-end services. And
it's about time, man.
Right? People are coming back to really, really taking care of their hair. Scalp treatments fall under that. All of your high-end services that aren't just a cut and a blow and get them out the door. People are actually spending time in the salons with their hairdressers, which only equals one thing, and that's money for the rest of us. For those of us that are operators, I think that I really got really excited when I read that, and I came across one of my news feeds, and I was like, awesome. They didn't give an exact number, but that's what's been reported to them. Next, and here's a fun one. Here's a great one. As of last year, end of 2023, 1.1 million salons exist in the U.S.
Wow.
That's just the salon business entity. So if you really think about that, 1.1 million salons, and you think about not everybody is a 1 or 2 person operation, right? So you really think about how many hairdressers we have, U.S., coast to coast.
Well, you figure this way, man. Let's just say hypothetical. Even if you just have one person per location,
right?
Then you got over 1 million hairdressers running around the country. That like that by itself is freaking amazing. So there's over, God, I don't even. You know what? Okay, how many hairdressers are there?
I didn't do that one yet. I'm saving that for another one. Come on, you can't have your dessert before you have your dinner.
I have always been obsessed with this million. You've always heard me say this. All you need is 1% of 1 million to be satisfied and be comfortable.
Right.
As far as business goes, you don't have to be sitting there trying to chase fucking everybody and trying to keep up with the Joneses. So you just, you just need 1% of the business, and a million, to be $1 million business, even if you got one. If there's $1 million of business in your neighborhood and you just got 1% of that business, you'd be making
100,000
grand, and you'd be comfortable.
And that's your magic number. Everything is 100 grand. So that isn't that cool though? I mean, I got excited because I thought, with quote unquote the Great Reset and everything that went on.
With that said, if every million salon had 1% of the population, then every single salon would have 100,000 clients. And if you have 1% of that, then all you need is 100 of those. Well, what's 1% of 100 grand? 100 or 1,000?
1% of 100 grand would be 1,000.
Way more clients than you can handle. You cannot physically see 1,000 clients. So you don't even need 1% of the population in your area. I think to be fully booked, what was the statistic on it? You needed like 156 clients or something like that? Less than 200.
Yeah. It's under 200.
It's insane.
To be
and you got yourself a full book business.
Exactly.
Then all you got to do is worry about your time and your prices.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really inspirational. It's so inspirational. I broke.
When I read that, I got excited. It made me excited for our industry.
Yeah.
It got me really pumped about really what all of us are doing. We have an industry that, as of right now, there's 1.1 million salons. Think about all the other businesses that support the salon business.
That's a great point.
I mean, it kind of blows your mind about how big yet small our industry is, and it gets me pumped up. It really gets me pumped. And I talk with people a lot lately. I've been getting a lot of phone calls and stuff like that about education and stuff like that. And how excited hairdressers are, and I'm using hairdressers as an example. Hairdressers are about our industry really finally 3 years later getting back into full stride. People back, running their businesses, running their chairs. Because I've always said it, and I'm a big believer in whether you are by yourself or you work in a big salon, that's 6 square feet or 8 square feet, wherever it is where your chair is, that's your business. You run that business. And it really motivates me knowing that people are out there and they're doing it. They're doing it, and they're doing it their way. And it's awesome. It's awesome. And now for our last little bit of news. And it's a riddle for you. I have a riddle. You ready? I didn't hear yes.
Oh, I'm focused.
You're trying to focus. Yeah. Here he goes again with his ODD. But anyway. All right, you ready? What is the primary factor for over 45% of customers in choosing a salon? What is the major? What is the major? Yeah. What is the major factor for over 45% of customers choosing a salon? What's the one factor that 45% of the people choose to go into a shop?
Convenience.
Nope. Try again.
It's not like, oh, it's just down the street from my house, so it's nice to get there?
Nope.
No, huh? All right. How cute you are.
Well, in my case, I don't know about you.
How cuddly you are to hug.
Cuddly. Customer service. The reputation of customer service.
45%.
45% of people that have walked into a new salon, they were asked, what made you choose? And they said the reputation of customer service.
That's a big percent.
Yeah. And then 72% of them stayed with the salon because their customer service needs were met.
You know what's so interesting is customer service. A lot of people think the customer service starts from the stylist. It actually starts from the advertisement. You know, how are you listed on Google, for example, or on Facebook or on Instagram or on wherever? The presentation of the font of your business, your whatever imagery you decide to put out there, you know, all of that, that's what it all starts from.
Right.
And then how easy it is for somebody to call or contact or whatever, how easy it is for somebody to access the building. As soon as they walk in, how are they simply greeted? And how does the place look like when they first walk in? What do they visually see? Because there is a lot of things going on before they physically get to say hi to you, before they get to say hi to you.
Right. Right.
It's wild.
You know,
45%, and then 72% of that stay
because their customer service, their needs were met.
That's a powerful statistic.
That's a huge statistic.
And especially, I imagine that feeds into how you're talking about that a lot of the high-end services are coming back up again.
Yeah.
And increasing. Yes. Because what were you telling me a couple of weeks ago? Like only 20% of people get their hair colored? Some ridiculously low number?
But once again, we're taking into account 1.1 million salons. How many of those are they don't even offer color?
I understand. But that's what I'm saying. It's great to see the expansion of those services rising because, like we were talking about, there's an opportunity there. There's a huge opportunity there.
Agreed.
And you know what? People should be getting high-end services. They should be getting pampered. They should be addressing the concerns and the needs of their type of hair for them to be able to look like and enjoy how they want to be like. Absolutely. I'm all for it. I don't mean it as a negative. That's awesome. That is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. And I just wanted to I want to backtrack just for a minute on you. When you said, you know, when people walk in to the salon or for their salon experience, back in the day, we always used to, I mean, our rallying cry is the front desk is your first and last line of defense. That's the first impression. If you're in a larger situation, your front desk is that first impression and is the last impression for that client.
You know how many clients I've lost, not because of me, but because of they went to check in. It was a horrible check-in. They come down, they come over to the chair and they're already upset and aggravated. The service is awkward, but you kind of save it. But then after they leave, all of a sudden you get a message that she wants you to call. You get on the phone and she's like, it's not you, but it's the salon and I ain't coming back. It's unfortunate because I really like the way you do my hair. I'm like, whoa. Now you got to sit there and you're trying to do a Hail Mary to salvage.
Right.
That's rough. That's rough.
Or my favorite is when you get those messages and then it comes, because there's always the ones I'd be like, are you willing to come and do my hair at my house?
That's a whole nother.
I know. We can spend an hour on that, but it makes me laugh when that message comes. And I not all the time, but there are some clients, my girlfriend gets her hair done in her house. Great. But I have a salon.
The circumstances around that are so individual and so unique.
Yes.
And so personalized. Yeah, that's
agreed.
It's hard to say if it's a good thing or a bad thing, if it's agreeable or disagreeable. That's 100% opinionated. There's no advice we would be able to give that would be a good advice or a bad advice. It is just 100% opinionated.
No, and if you backtrack to during COVID, I mean, I had people reaching out to me on social media. Will you come do my hair in my garage? No. Not
using my hair done. It's like a speakeasy. There's no way liquor's going away. People are going to drink. There's no way people are not going to get their hair done. You're not going out anywhere. I don't care. I need my hair done. Let's go.
I gotta be on Zoom.
Right.
But yeah. So with us talking about salons, I've kind of got I'm a little worked up, and I talked to you about this briefly the other day. Over the past 2 weeks, about half a dozen times, I've heard either big salons are coming back or the return of the traditional salon.
Yeah, it's on.
It's on. Here's my question. Where did they go? Did they go someplace?
They became extinct temporarily for 3 years.
Okay.
They just were laying, hibernation. They were hibernating.
They went into hibernation. So I'm gonna lose my mind for a minute here on you. What a bunch of crap. Number one, okay, because right down the street from me are two very large salons. They never stopped operating. The hairdressers there have been making money and working. What does that mean? The big salons are coming back. Traditional salons are coming back. Look, we established earlier on, there is enough clientele to go around for your large salons, for your medium-sized salons, for your independents, for your chop shops, if you want to call them whatever you want to call them, your haircut spots. Barbering has come back massively. I haven't seen, with barbering coming back, I haven't seen a dent in my business with my men.
Okay, so then by your own words, when did barbering die? That
Right.
is coming back.
Well, no, barbershops were few and far between for a while.
Were they?
They were.
Were they, or were they just not trending?
Whatever. You say whatever you want.
Whatever.
But I'm giving you the big salon.
So then big salons were far and few between. They were all shut down then.
Well, they were all shut. So for 3 years, they've been shut down.
Just like according to you?
No, not according to me. You're wrong. Number one, you're wrong. Number two, you're wrong. Number three, you're wrong. My problem is that there is more than enough business to go around for all of us. And instead of us putting these classifications on each other, we are in a very strong, big industry, and we should all be standing together and happy for everybody getting their piece of the pie. That's my take. I don't like classifying people. I don't like saying, oh, well, you're in a booth rental. Oh, you're in a big salon. You know what? That's the awesome part about what we do is you can exist on many different levels, and no level is better than the other. This goes back to when I decided that when I became a colorist, and people used to ask me all the time, well, why are you just doing color? Why are you limiting yourself? That was my choice. That wasn't your choice or someone else's. That's my choice, and it's the same thing. So instead of all of us, oh, well, look, those guys over in the sweet situation, they're less than. No, they're not less than. Oh, you work in a big salon. You're a corporate droid. You're less than. No, that's shenanigans. That's complete and total shenanigans. And our industry should stand together and be strong instead of this division that goes on. It makes me crazy. Am I ranting? Am I ranting yet? Because I'm about to.
So when I go to people's houses, then that's okay. Then you shouldn't get mad at me.
Is it wrong?
Is it?
Are you paying your bills?
Am I?
Are you?
This is like a whose line. You just got to keep going with the questions nonstop, right?
I can answer a question with a question.
Yeah, you got to answer a question with a question. The trends are a weird thing, and social media is even a weirder thing. Perception, unfortunately, is what a lot of people live and die by. And and it's not necessarily a good thing. You got to be careful about that. You really got to be careful about that. There was an exodus. We can agree that there was an exodus, and the trend was to leave a salon and open up your own individual spaces. That didn't mean that the salons died or they went away. All right. I recall, look, history always repeats itself. Everything old becomes new again. And if you go by that example, there was a time where the big salons and the corporate salons squeezed the mom and pop shops, the middle-sized salons.
Yeah, they did.
There was a time where the mid-grade shops got squeezed really, really hard. They never went away. They did take a hit, but they never went away. And then, that trend came and went. They weathered the storm. Unfortunately, some people dropped off, but the majority of the mid-grade salons started expanding again. There was a time where a lot of individual stylists were leaving the big salon and going into their own operating scenarios, situations, whether you're a studio owner or a booth renter, I don't care how you want to refer to it as. That was a trend. So the big salons did take a hit temporarily, but they never went away. That never became a thing. It was just a problem is with social media being the Wild West that it is, everybody's trying to start a fight and everybody's looking for, I really do say the social media is like the Wild West. You say three things and two people take three of the things the wrong way. And all of a sudden you've got chaos, you got a shootout, or you got a Mexican standoff at high noon, and then that division that you're talking about, then all of a sudden everybody feels like they have to take a side, and we can't just come to some kind of a discussion to get along. And that's where things gets dangerous. That's where things gets really, really dangerous. So
see, and see, that's my point is verbiage is a very strong tool. And instead of saying traditional salon or big salons are back, how about the beauty industry is back? All of us.
And that's really what it is, because we would have never gotten to that million number if all the big salons went away. There's no way we would hit 1 million salons, 1.1 million, like you were saying in your stat, right?
Yeah.
We would never achieve that. It's impossible.
Right.
So the fact that we have the big salons, we have the mid-grade, we have the corporates, we have barber shops, now we have individual stylists.
God bless them all.
Yeah, because now like you were talking about too, then you got all those supporting businesses that feed from this industry as well too. Overall, it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing.
I just think, once again, and it's just been sticking in my craw for a while, and I'm glad that we green-lighted talking about this. I just think that as an industry, we are a strong, powerful industry with amazing creative people, and it's time for all of us to really stand shoulder to shoulder and not be divided, and move forward and move this industry forward. And truly, and I'll say it, I think we all should be treated like the rock stars that we are, because what we do makes people feel so good about themselves, and we work with people's images. And the hard work that each and every person that stands behind a chair does should be recognized.
I agree with you, but that's a complicated thing to achieve because of segregation.
Well, it shouldn't be.
But we do it in our own industry. We segregate ourselves. We naturally do it without realizing, oh, that's a front desk person. We don't mingle. Oh, those are hairstylists. I'm a colorist. I don't mingle. Oh, that person does extensions. She's by herself. I don't. Leave her alone. No, the nail techs are the nail techs. They're over there. We don't. I mean, look at the hair show that we were just at a couple of weeks ago. The classrooms are over there. The stages are over there. The tchotchkes are over there. Look at me. I'm doing it myself right now. Oh, the tchotchkes. I don't look at it as the discount center or the support the industry support products. I call it the no man's land of the dark side of the show. We naturally do it all the time.
But we shouldn't.
It's human nature.
No, it's not.
It's human nature. You try to stay with your own kind. Like you just feel comfortable in your own little bubble. Everybody got to have their own little bubble.
Well, explain our friendship then, with me being human and you being a vampire.
Lines were crossed. That's how you and I became friends. Lines were crossed. We were about to get it. No, we did get into it with each other, and then we were able to settle. And through the settlement after the fact, we realized that we have a lot more in common than we have different. But it wasn't until those lines were crossed and I was motivated enough to get out of my own bubble and try to come into yours. And then all of a sudden I realized, like, we actually want the same thing. So why did you think of me one way? Why did I think of you one way? It wasn't until I was willing to cross the line and have it out with you.
I still think of you the same way, but that's okay.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're stuck with me now. You see? And with our powers combined, we are now webbing out there and drawing people into our bubble. And now those lines are getting crossed. We're breaking down barriers of other people's little misconceptions and segregations and stuff like that. And we're creating a network. HTB was built on the fact that this is going to be an educational company, not a sales company. There was this method that in itself was segregation in the industry. When you walked into a salon, oh, you're just a salesperson. Get out of here. I don't want to talk to you. I ain't got time for you. Well, it wasn't until, Darren and I were like, all right, look, man, we're going to take this a different direction. We're not going to come in as sales. We're going to come in as technical support. And now all of a sudden, they're like, well, if you're not a salesperson, then then I'll talk to you. What's up? What do you got? Let me test your knowledge. And then that was a whole freaking barrier I had to break through. Like, dude, I'm not trying to have a mental gymnastic with you. I'm just trying to say, if you have questions or you have concerns, if you run into some problems, I am a resource at your disposal.
Yeah, and now you push them off on me.
Because I'm not trying to have mental gymnastics with freaking people. I don't care. You probably are smarter than I am. You probably are more knowledgeable than I am.
No. Do not put that moniker on me.
What I'm saying is, when it comes down to it, and when you hit your fight or flight response, when you're knee deep in the trench, I am the one that will be there right next to you fighting that freaking war. And I will go into no man's land and I will pull you out with all the crossfire going overhead. Okay. That is my superpower. I have the ability to stay calm and weather any freaking storm that's thrown at me. And I can bring you back from the brink, from the dark warp when those tendrils are freaking grasping at you. That's what I can do. That's the resource that I am. That is what Here's the Bling is. That's what HT Beauty stands for. Okay. That's how we've been able to build our network. This whole thing, we're just a couple of stylists hanging out in the back room, arguing with each other all the time. That's how we get things done. And every other hairdresser that's ever walked into the back room that we've been in and listened to us going back and forth with each other has immediately become engaged. Right. And has become our friends and have become long-lasting friends because they are so blown away of how open-minded and how at the throat we go at it with each other. And then because we equally want the best for the client experience after the fact. Our own personal opinions be damned, our own wants and concerns and needs put aside. We are arguing because we want what's best for the client, and then what's going to, because that's going to benefit the stylist, which overall is going to help the industry, which then in turn helps us.
Right.
We are not chasing the dollar. We are creating the opportunity to make the dollar.
Make the dollar. Amen.
And that's what it comes down to, my friend. That's what you're on about. You know?
So let's agree. Let's agree from this point forward. It doesn't matter what your situation is. As long as you possess one of these, there it is, one of these, you worked your butt off to get that. You're in the industry. You're working your butt off to get clients. Once again, it doesn't matter what type of situation you're in. We're all the same. We all are the same. We all are licensed cosmetologists, and we're all fighting the same fight, and we should stand together. True or false?
I'm with you on that one.
Okay, so we're going to close that out. We're not even putting a pin in it. Okay. You're going to regret that statement for the rest of your life. But we're all in this together, guys. We're here for you, and we should all be here for each other, no matter whether you're a booth renter, you're a studio renter, or you work in a big salon. And let's move forward as an industry. I hate titles. Titles make me crazy.
I got you.
So,
what fun toys you got this week?
That's my rant. That's my rant for the week. Like I said, it really got under my skin about, big salon, small salon. It makes me mental. You have your mental moments, I have mine, and I'm allowed to have it. So don't give me that.
A lot to make you really mental.
Okay, so here's a fun one for you. And see, you're a little more versed in this than I am, so I am gonna give the reins to you. We're going to be talking about ergo tools.
Because my tools are better than yours.
You are. Your tools
are a better hairdresser than you.
You are a better hairdresser than I am. I accept that. I mean, basically, I'm just a chimp with a tint brush in my hand. But we've got ergo tools, which is the flat iron and the mini crimping iron, or is
mini
it just
crimper?
The mini crimper. I love my ergo flat iron. And I actually bought that. It didn't fall out of your bag into mine.
I think the first one did.
No. The ergo blow dryer. It wanted to come home with me. It just did.
I got you.
We should let everybody in on that joke, because so years ago when Ergo first came out with their blow dryer, the T3000.
If you say so. It's the ergo blow dryer.
The ergo blow dryer.
We were a hairdresser. What do I know?
We were doing a show, and and at the end of the show, it's just pack everything up and get the heck out of there as fast as you can. So I get back to the shop, and I open it up, and wow, Eddie's ergo blow dryer's in my bag. And it told me, and I picked it up, and it said, "Oh, I feel much more comfortable and safe with you."
That's what it said.
So that's where my ergo blow dryer came from, and I let Eddie know I had it.
Yeah, like a month later, after I was losing my mind, couldn't find it. You didn't let me know immediately.
Wow, I didn't. It was happy with me. I was protecting it because you're mean to blow dryers.
I am.
You're very hurt.
Enjoy blow drying.
So that's the joke.
I like that ergo blow dryer so much because I don't enjoy blow drying, and it helps me blow dry fast.
It's a silly joke, but it's a joke that's existed for a long time. So anyway, Eddie, tell us about the flat iron first.
The flat iron first. Okay, yeah. It's what's nice about the flat iron is that you can use it's multi-purposed. You can use it as a styling tool. You can use it as a service tool as well. And the reason why it's like that is because the plates themselves are beveled at the ends. It's not just a squared off plate. And then the shell of the flat iron itself is also rounded. It's not squared off either. So when you close the flat iron, you can actually wrap the hair around it, and it almost becomes like a proxy curling iron. And it's really, really fun because you could create some really nice curls with that, right? And then because it's a flat iron, depending on how tight or how loose, depending on which part of the section you start from, you can dictate also how thick or thin the section that you take, right? You could dictate how you can make a beachy wave, or you can make a tight, curl. You can make a barrel curl out of it as well too. So it's really fun as far as that goes. The temperature control on it allows you to be able to determine for what type of hair you're working on. you could really figure out like, oh, okay, I got thin, fine hair, then I only need 390. Oh, I got, a little bit coarser hair. Okay, maybe I need 400 or 410 or something like that. Maybe I'm doing a treatment. Well, I got to crank it up a little bit. I need 420, 430, 450, something. So it gives you that versatility to be able to do different treatments and different things with it as well, too. What's nice about it is the grip, the texture feel grip of the flat iron is identical to the paddle brush and to the round brushes. So going from a brush to the flat iron, your hand automatically, it's muscle memory. Yeah. You figure out already, you're like, oh yeah, I know this feels natural. Like this feels good. Right. And then you're not going to be putting the strain onto your wrist. You're also not going to be putting the strain onto your wrist because the plates have suspension in them. So you don't have to squeeze so hard to force it in. When you squeeze the flat iron closed, the suspension in there will have some give. So you're never putting the strain. You're never feeling the direct strain onto your wrist. Right. So it never hurts either. And that's really awesome as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Ceramic, of course, it's a ceramic heating element. So that's going to conduct the heat evenly. It's going to generate those negative ions. So it helps seal the cuticle down. I mean, that's pretty standard nowadays with most professional tools, especially on the high-end version of professional tools. So it's definitely got that built into it as well, too. I think the biggest factor is in the plate being, what is it, a 1 inch, 1.25 inch plate?
Yeah.
So it's got enough surface where if you need to smooth out the section of hair, you could do it, but it's still controlled enough of a surface that if you want to create styling effects with it, you definitely have the ability to do so.
Now, is the plate tourmaline infused or no?
The tourmaline infused, yes.
Yeah. Yes, it is, right?
Yeah, not tourmaline. Okay. It's tourmaline infused. Yeah.
Tourmaline infused. Yes.
The technicality of it matters, if we're being straight, if we're being, if we're going to be speaking honest about it and not doing marketing BS. Yeah.
Sure.
And that's where you're generating those negative ions. That's what I was saying. A lot of professional products nowadays on the higher end, like an ergo product, the flat iron in this example, by default, that's pretty standard nowadays. That's how you're generating those negative ions.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Which means that's where you're getting the additional shine, smoothness, and the sealing in the cuticles. So, you become anti-humectant, right? Yeah, you become anti-static, anti-humectant.
Yeah, yeah. And then moving on to the mini crimper. One of my favorite memories is when that iron first came out. It was you, me, and William backstage with that model who had more hair than should be humanly allowed. Do you remember that?
Keep telling your story. I think I remember who you're talking about.
And William started crimping her, and he looks over at the both of us, and he goes, "I need help." And it was the three of us on this giant head of hair.
Okay,
and we crimped that whole head. I mean, we each took a section of the head.
She was out to here.
Yeah, it was. It was out to here. It was amazing. But I still remember, and I love the fact that the end of the crimping iron doesn't heat. The plate heats up, but the end doesn't heat up, so you can get that. I don't know what the term whatever
the compression. You can get the compression and the pressure put in properly, so you can create the crimp and lock that crimp. The thing about crimping hair, done correctly looks amazing. Done incorrectly looks like a hot frizzy mess. That is the issue with crimping. Okay. The other problem with crimping is the separation in the plate. If they're too close, even if you get a good lock in, it doesn't matter. It still looks like a frizzy mess. If they're too far apart, it looks like speed bumps in the hair.
Right.
So having the right amount of crimp in that plate. The reason why this is referred to as a mini crimper is because it uses the same shell model like the flat iron. It's only 1.25 inch wide. Traditional crimpers are about 2-inch plates to 3-inch plates. Remember those?
I have a Conair one around here that I've had since I was in beauty school, It's
Yeah,
it's
buddy.
stuffed in a cabinet somewhere.
Yeah, buddy.
And
That
it was,
thing is like as wide as my hand.
yeah, yeah,
It's bulky.
yep,
You got to get all the hair in there. It's a lot of work to get all that hair in there properly, and then you got to clamp that sucker down. It again done correctly looks amazing. Done
right,
incorrectly, it looks like a mess. You know.
right,
So having the fact that it's the same size of the flat iron, the mini crimper is the same size of the flat iron. It gives you that versatility and that flexibility that it just feels natural in your hand. And it's got the same texture grip as well. So it feels really good. It's something that muscle memory kicks in with and you're used to doing. It has the suspension. It doesn't have as much suspension in it as the flat iron does.
No, it doesn't have as much give. No.
Right. It doesn't have as much give, but it does have a slight amount, which is nice. Which is nice. The other thing about it is I got this little trick that was shown to me a long time ago, and I absolutely love it. The natural swirl on the back of your head. That right there, and that little section right above your crown, you got about that much space, okay? If you take that little section of hair and you crimp it, you get instant. You know how a lot of women are always struggling to try to create volume,
Right?
right?
Yeah, yeah. I get
And
that.
they go in and they back comb or they try to rat it or tease it or however it's called. You can go in and just crimp that and then let the hair lay over it so you hide the crimping. Instant volume.
Instant volume. So they look like
Instant volume.
yeah. So
You don't got to struggle with a round brush so much.
Yeah. And it doesn't look like you were hit with a frying pan on the back of the head.
And I think it's awesome. I think it's absolutely awesome. And then it brushes out pretty easy too. And then once you wet your hair down and wash your hair, the crimp goes away anyways and you're done. You're fine.
Yeah, no, but that's awesome. Great tools. Ergo is light years ahead of a lot of people. They everything Ergo I have, I freaking love. And I love the handle material. Like this is the brush.
That silicone grip is huge.
The grip and it's on the brushes, it's on their tools. I mean, in comparison to some of the other brushes I have that I've just become accustomed to, it's just so easy on everything. Robert's the man. He really is. Ergo tools are the way to go. I wish that there was some more innovation coming out from them. Besides I love all the gentle brushes that they've come out.
Those are the latest innovations that they've come up with, and that now that they're past that project, now they're moving on to the next. So there's going to be more things coming.
Look forward to it. I really look forward to it. It's awesome, and it's not just flash in the pan. It is tried and true, and anybody who has Ergo brushes all love them. So and their tools. The flat iron's amazing. The blow dryer's amazing. Ergo's amazing. Moving on to our next subject, my friend. We're doing a little switcheroo here today.
We're doing motivation. Yeah, I got it this week.
So Eddie's going to give us our motivation today.
This week.
Look how excited he is too.
I am.
So
I like this one.
All right, come on, let's go.
Reputation is what others think of you. Character is what you think of yourself.
Wow. So give it to me. What reputation is what others?
Your reputation is what others think of you. Your character is what you think of yourself.
That fits. That really does fit. That
I got a good one.
That takes me back to like what the teachers used to say to me when they used to tell you, character is what you do when you think no one is looking.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I love that. But we all work our reputations very hard. and what other people think, as much as we don't want to, it's easy to say, oh, I don't care what people think about me. That's not true. It's not true. But really, what you think of yourself comes right out in your character. That tells people who you are.
It's the adult version of Sticks and Stones.
Ooh. Ooh. What does that speak to you about?
It's my whole life in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I've gone through a lot of stuff in my life, and I was asked this question a few days ago, and it was really interesting. And it's what made me think of this. It's what made me think of this quote. A few days ago, I was speaking with a salon owner, and I've known her for a long, long time. And she's been watching my career grow over the years. And she goes, if you think back to when you started to what you've become now, how much of your values and your core beliefs have updated and or changed? And I'm like, it's an interesting question. She goes, I'm just curious. Thought, I pondered on it for a few, and I'm like, you know what? Not much. Like who I was 10 years ago, who I was 20 years ago, who I was 30 years ago, who I was 40 years ago, who I've been my entire life is pretty consistent. I haven't really changed who I am. How I do things, I've leveled off a little bit. I don't go as hard as I used to. What do you call, how you say to me? I've become domesticated. I'm not as feral as I used to be, but and I always think that's funny how you say that about me all the time, but at the same time, I'm still like, yeah, I maybe act a little more calm now, but I'm still haven't changed how I am.
Right.
It's really interesting. So when she hit me with that question, I was thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? It's really interesting, because I am who I am. And it's for the people who I connect with, it works out really strong, really intensely. For the people I disconnect with, it equally works out really strong and really, intensely as well, too. The people that don't like me do not like me. They hate me. Mm-hmm. And the people who like me, they're infatuated. Like they love me, man. And it's wild. And I have very few people that are kind of like on the fence that have no opinion.
Right.
And right. It's really, really interesting. The one thing though, as much as anybody can say good or bad, like they like me or they dislike me, nobody can say I'm disrespectful. You could say anything else. You can't say I'm disrespectful. You can't right. say I'm lazy either. I work my butt off,
Right.
And that is my character, which has then become my reputation.
Right.
Which then leads to how hard I value being respectful and how much my line is of where I won't cross and how much I won't deal with what I perceive as disrespect. I won't put up with it. So then people are like, he just snaps at you and he'll tell you off. And he, he's so mean. He's so mean. Nobody ever says I'm rude. Everyone's like, he's so mean, But then at the same time, that becomes your reputation.
Right.
He's a mean guy. They don't understand why.
Right.
So it's what, and then the people that like me, they're like, oh my God, he's the great guy. He gives himself, give you the shirt off his back. He'll be there for you. He's that's the, like I was saying earlier, that's the guy you want in the trenches.
Right.
I will be right there with you and I'll pull you out of no man's land through the crossfire. Like, yeah, that's how hard I go, like that's how far I'm willing to go. So that's my character. But now that reputation is, man, he's a stand-up guy. He'll be there for you. He'll be, he'll be by your side. That's the guy you want by your side because that's who I am. But that's how other people perceive it. So it's interesting how that works. And I've never chased people trying to get them to think of me like that. I have always, I like to say I am among the few people that say I don't care how others think of me. I accept how others think of me. And I think in there lies the difference, because a lot of people, I don't give a crap what anybody thinks of me. It's like, but now you're whining about it. So you actually are saying that you do care. You're just aggravated that they don't, they're not liking you the way you want them to like you. That's why you're saying it like that,
Right. Right.
But the way I'm saying it is, I really don't care how anybody thinks of me. I accept, good or bad, I just accept it, because I'm not going to control your perception of myself. I can only be consistent and true to my character of who I am. It's either going to connect with you or it's not going to connect with you. I can't control you. So it is what it is. We're either going to pair up and match or we're not.
Right.
Or you're, if we're swipe, you're either going to swipe me or you're going to stay on. Well, what's your take on it? I mean, that's what that means to me.
Well, and see, this is why you hit a lot of my same points. I'm a little more simplistic about it. For me, it's always been in the morning when I look in the mirror, do I like the guy looking back at me? And because if I like the guy looking back at me, that's really all that matters. I know I'm an acquired taste for some people. I know that I set some people's teeth on edge, and there are people that they see me coming and they despise the fact that I'm breathing the same air they're breathing. I get that, but there's a handful of people that I have been overtly aggressive with, only because it was warranted. Other than that, I will do anything I possibly can for anybody. If you've been good to me, I'm gonna be good to you. My reputation, I see people that I trained years ago, and they're like, "Oh my God, you taught me so much." Blah blah blah. I'll give, but you bite the hand, and you get nothing. And that's just how I am. It's very cut and dried. I prefer to laugh than be angry and stomp around like a maniac. But for the most part, I agree with that whole statement. And really, the only thing that's important, the only thing that's important to me is what I think of myself, and actually my true guidepost is, what my wife thinks. So, if she thinks it should be, I make it happen.
That is your character.
That's my character. The character is what my wife says it should be. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, and it's true. And but see, the way we were raised by immigrant parents, and immigrant parents are some of the best lesson teachers ever, because they came from the old country. They came from next to nothing, and the only thing that was important to them was family, right? And their self-worth. And and those old school people, there may be people that are smarter than them, there may be people that are better educated than them, but they make gosh darn sure no one outworks them, right? And that's really what it boils down to, is your work ethic. And your work ethic truly comes from how you see yourself. I agree 100%. I love that. I love that quote. I think it's awesome. And we could go for another 20 minutes on this. It's awesome. That was great. What's coming up, since we got a couple minutes before we sign off, what's coming up in the HTB, in what's coming up in future promotions? We've been talking about a couple things, and
we've been talking about a couple of things. The biggest news is that we're working on the website. We're revamping and overhauling the website, and It's a lot of work, but it's going to be a lot more streamlined. It's going to be a lot more user friendly. I believe it's going to be a lot more informative. It's going to give us the ability to put together a lot more content that's actually going to be educational, motivational, and the ability for people to refer back to very quickly. Accessible. I get that. That's for accessible as well too. So that's the biggest thing on that one.
That's awesome.
It's a lot of it has been driven by the user comments. On Facebook, we have a private group. And in that private group, every single person who's a member of that private group is literally an account that does business with us. So we get a lot of feedback from those people. Every time we have classes, I'm always asking questions, how else can we help you better? What else can HTB do for you? And we take that feedback, and you may not realize it. A lot of people don't think their opinion matters, but to us it does. We sit down weekly and we go over comments. This person said this person said that, good or bad, right or wrong, and we evaluate it constructively. We don't sit there and have a bitch fest over it.
No.
So if somebody said something positive, we don't even take that in stride. We try to deconstruct that too. Why are they so happy that they gave that constructive, that positive feedback, right?
Right.
And the same thing when if somebody says something like a complaint or a negative comment, we don't get thing over that either. We try to deconstruct that, because I respect the fact, and we respect the fact, because you get excited for negative comments. Somebody took the time to say, this upset me. It means you still care enough about something that you took the moment to say, I wanted this much out of you guys and I didn't get it. And so it works out all the way around. A lot of the things we do, we are very fluid, and we pivot a lot, to try to see what can we do to be more streamlined, to be better, and to be able to support everybody out there.
That's one of the greatest things about HTB, and what I really love is with HTB is the dynamic that exists between you, me, and Darren, is the fact that each one of our opinions counts, and the way we tear things apart and see what we can be doing better, did this work, did this not work? And if it didn't work, it's not, doom and gloom. It's all right. Well, what do we got to do to not make that mistake again?
Yeah. Why did it not work? Right. How we got to do this better? How?
100%.
It's always how and why, not, oh, well, toss that aside.
Well, and guys, that's just a peek behind, the curtain, and not the curtain that's behind Eddie. But that's a peek behind the curtain of what goes on and what goes on with HTB Beauty for you and your experiences, your customer experiences, your educational experiences. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you. We appreciate you all. And we are coming to the end of our time.
More than anything, your comments matter more than anything else. I don't care if you subscribe. If you think we've earned it, do it. We appreciate it. It'll help. Yeah, sure. But, sharing our information with other people, commenting on our information to make sure we're on the right track with saying what you guys are wanting to hear, that really matters the most. So
it does.
That's the way I put it out there. So I appreciate it.
Like, share, subscribe, guys, please. We'd love to hear from any and all of you. We want to keep taking SFTB and take it up as many notches as we possibly can for you, to keep you entertained. We will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.